This is Naoki Yoshida,
This is Fern Halls.
and you are listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Aetheryte Radio.
Here we go!
All right, hello and welcome to Aetheryte Radio Gamerscape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm Fusion X, and joining me today we have everybody. Everybody is
Groot.
here. You, I don't think that's your name. Is this just gonna be? Is this gonna be a bit now? That's all Zen's gonna say for the entire show. She's just gonna speak in Groot
I had to do it. One time. Groot had to do it one time.
one time.
Just one.
Could you imagine? That's just the entire. That's just the bit for like the next like hour and a half.
I am
Just-
Groot.
I am Groot.
I
So-
am Groot. I am
Zen,
Groot. I am Groot.
Zen, what did you think
I'm
about
Groot.
what did you think about the dungeon?
I am Groot.
I know that was. I've never heard Groot say, "You know." I don't. You're not
You
selling
know.
this.
Caught me.
Zen, Audino, and Rook, we're all here.
Yeah.
We finally had a time where we could all get together. We've all been busy. We've been so busy, everybody. I've been doing a crazy work project since February that's finally letting me breathe just a little bit. Rook has been casting MDI again like a badass.
Mhm.
And I think Audino's just
Indeterminate. Yeah, I
Floating
found out
out
that I
there being
worked on the
successful and shit.
Mystery.
Resident
Yeah.
Evil trailer. I didn't know that I worked on that trailer, but I did. Hooray!
no kidding.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
neat. I saw
I've
the
had
posters are out for that too.
about 300 voice jobs where they called me
Yeah.
an hour beforehand, like, "Hey, can you come here and do this?" And of course, you're not gonna say no.
Yeah.
So if you hear someone in the wild, in the media wild, in the next probably 6 months, that sounds like me. It's probably me.
There's a non-zero chance that it's just Zen.
Yeah.
All right, so today we're gonna start our review for patch 7.5. We're gonna do things
Yes.
a little differently. We'll explain that when we get into it. But first, we do have a little bit of news. The Make It Rain campaign is now going on. It started up yesterday, and it's gonna go until June 24th.
I know you didn't do anything particularly different, but I just like the way you said the Make It Rain campaign.
Make
It's
it
good.
rain. Oh, make it rain.
Thank you. Wow, I feel really excited for this now. I was kind of middling now, but I'm
It's got-
I'm in it.
I mean, you got to be excited. It's got furry little gentlemen.
You can get the otter for real, not as a bug.
Yeah,
That's true.
you can actually get the actual otter backpack that they'll let you keep this time. And your little gentleman minion, your Senor Otter. And then the posters for they got like some mahjong, some Kappa stuff, and yeah, so there you go. So yeah, go ahead and go do that stuff or pay for it, in a year if
Totally.
you forget. While you're thinking about paying for stuff in game, new optional items are now available on the online store. 2 new emotes, Blown Away and Overreact. I'm surprised Overreact isn't just like a default emote.
Yeah,
That feels like it should just be a default emote.
sure.
And then we got some patch artwork posters for the house if you want those. And then last here, FanFest 2026 official merchandise Wave 1 is now available for Asia and the Oceania store from Square Enix Store Plus.
Dang it.
Um,
I'm gonna
great.
have to look at that, aren't I?
what's that?
I'm gonna have to look at that, aren't I? Oh no, they're gonna get me again.
Well, I mean, this is all the stuff we already saw for our FanFest.
Okay.
This
cool.
is round
There's
1, so they're
Okay.
they're very late to the game on
Okay.
this. That said, hopefully they can do this a little quicker. I mean, round 2 is already up for pre-order. If you haven't
Mhm.
seen that, so go get that. So I need to drop a couple pre-orders on some things.
Yeah.
But for those unfamiliar, Square Enix Store Plus, it's a online storefront that serves customers in Asia and Oceania. As of March, they are now offering sales in Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand,
Mhm.
Vietnam, the Philippines, Australia, and New Zealand. And they plan on expanding regions that they will support for that. So that's great. They've needed that for a long time in Australia. That's been an issue even before they've even got Oceania servers. So it's nice to see that they finally have that secured. We had a a friend of mine, Galaxy. We've had her on the show before. I had to
Right.
get her
Yeah.
Endwalker collector's edition, and we had to like send it to a warehouse that sends it to Australia. It was a huge thing. It's like, just let us buy
Gosh.
from you, Square. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then if you are going to be at Download Festival, there's some shirts that are going to be available. They claim they're not made with AI, but you know what? Go ahead, take a look, and make that decision for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the drama about that this week on socials.
This is the world we live in now. Supposedly, one of the like PR merch people from Square was on X and said it's not AI. So take that as you will. So yeah, but some neat designs. I got like the Aramon shirt that looked really neat.
Yeah.
But there's like 3 of them that are going to be exclusive to Download Festival. So if you're going, yeah, and you want them, there you go. And that's it for news. So that'll take us into our review for patch 7.5. So we're going to do things a little differently today. I've been mulling this over in the back of my head for a while. And with this patch coming up, I'm like, I'll just throw the idea out there. We'll see how it goes. So typically with a patch review, the patch comes out, we wait 2 weeks, and then we talk about the story. We talk about the dungeon, the trial, and the raid, and other category, right? Just whatever else there is. But the problem is Square Enix doesn't release everything in that patch at that time. They spread it out, and there's stuff that doesn't make it into that review. Especially now that we're in patch 7.5, where there's 2 parts. We could review the story now, but it's not done. So what we're going to do is do a review in progress for patch 7.5. So that'll start today. Today we are going to give scores for the dungeon, the trial, and the raid. We'll talk a little bit about the story, but then as more content comes out for the patch, we'll talk about it, we'll score it, and then at the end, you'll get what you're more used to with our patch reviews, where we'll have the posts on the site. We'll have a breakdown of some of the bigger pieces of content, and then we'll give an overall patch score, which will be just a giant smush of all the numbers that we come up with throughout this review process. So this way we're able to talk a little bit more about stuff like the cosmic exploration, or Ultimate will have a score now. So we're going to try this out. We'll see how it goes. Please give us your feedback on this. We'd love to hear what you think about it. The review is always such a tricky thing with with these patches. So well, let us know what you think of it, and let's get into it. So we are not going to score story, but we are going to talk about it. Zen is not frozen. Don't worry. It's just a picture. It's just a picture. She's here.
Frozen about a month ago.
Yeah.
Disneyland.
Yeah, get out Disney. My phone was sending me picture reminders like, last month you went to Disney. I'm like, yeah, I did.
Fine.
This is great. So we're not going to score story, but we'll talk about story. Obviously, once it's done, we'll talk about it as a whole. But I thought it was really funny, and Aldino was here last time, and we talked about it a little bit then. But I thought it was kind of funny how there was this sentiment from Yoshida. I think it was like right before FanFest, right after FanFest, where he talked about how they felt like they rushed or it was like a weird transition from Endwalker into Dawn Trail, and they wanted to avoid that this time. And I thought it was funny how there's like I don't know, a couple minutes in the beginning of this patch where you're in Solution 9 and Shale basically like, Mommy Shale opens your carton of milk, and then you just take it and you run off, and that's the end of all the Solution 9 stuff. That's the end of all the Dawn Trail stuff. You just grab it and you're like, bye. I'm like, okay, well, that maybe wasn't the smoothest transition, but that gives us more time for the next expansion's story to build up, I guess.
Yeah, it's it was kind of interesting. I think this patch overall, the story is getting to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
But it definitely felt like some of the moving from point A to point B to point C was a little bit like suddenly we're just kind of like, throwing you in like, okay, next thing, go on, next thing. And it felt a little funny to me too, because I kept having this weird deja vu that was just like, weren't we here? Like, didn't we already do this? Didn't we already have like the the whole like void patches and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
why does it feel like to me that sorry, why does it feel like to me that the patch content leading up to Dawn Trail was like the real story, and then Dawn Trail was like patch content, and then now we're back to the real story again.
Interesting.
Which like is not to say that Dawn Trail didn't have a lot of important stuff that it introduced or concepts that like we are directly building off of, but it just felt so odd because it kind of feels like the characters are kind of being sent right back to where they were before Dawn Trail. Like,
Yeah.
they just had this weird little side jaunt that was an entire expansion, and now they're just kind of exactly back where they were.
Which is really
Right.
funny, because I remember, when we were going through 6.x, I'm like, man, this feels like side filler content, like so much. And now it's just like, and we're back, and it's like, wait. Side to side, I guess. I don't
Did talk about summer vacation.
Yeah, right. So it was a summer
was
vacation.
was it
It wasn't, but
It wasn't.
But we did we stepped away, kind of like
Yeah.
a vacation-ish, and stepped back.
Yeah, it's just very strange to me. I feel like Dawn Trail just kind of has an identity crisis, maybe is the way to put it, where it doesn't really seem to know what it was meant to be other than a connecting point, which feels a little bit rough for like a whole expansion to sort of just be that. And it feels a little bit strange too, considering that, like, again, we've talked about it already, but the idea that like Tulio Lal and everything that happens there ends up being this just like totally inconsequential footnote to stuff that happens in Solution 9, and then Solution 9 kind of just gives us a thing that now is actually leading us through all of the rest of the story.
Right.
And like that's fine. I suppose that's fine. Like, we had to kind of start somewhere, and they really did seem to kind of look at Dawn Trail, I think, as being like A Realm Reborn stepping stone. But the fact that like this patch so directly took us back to, like, you could delete Dawn Trail and just like have this patch at the end of the Void stuff, and it wouldn't be that alarming of a shift.
We needed a way to get the key and also add cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah.
We needed
So-
to know why there's a squirrel. Yeah.
So yeah, but all of this to say, the patch was satisfying enough. Like, I think the story that we've had, particularly the last patch, this patch, I think it's really been picking up speed. I think there's a lot of stuff that I'm really excited about, and I think there were some big revelations. Of course, we won't dive into those in detail, but overall, I think that the presentation of the first part and the content we got rolled into it was solidly done. It just was a little bit strange that, like, yeah, we're just right back here again.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, and I think we talked about this last time too. But I mean, when we ended that little arc in the void, Yoshida commented, it's like, yeah, I mean, and they'll work on change and stuff, but like we'll probably never see it because it's gonna take like a bajillion years or whatever for them to restore the void. And I'm wondering now, like, if they're like, maybe we should dial that timeline back a little bit. Like, because it's so weird to like, okay, and we had this little story over here and we're done, but no, wait, hold on, we're back for a minute. Like, it's weird. It's a little weird. I mean, I think obviously like the reason we go back is because it serves as a way to highlight Ethos, right? Which is going to be our new little magical teleport thing. We saw that in the trailer for Evercold. That's how we're going to the fourth. At some point, we'll learn how to bring people through with us onto one little floating island in the sky. I don't know how they get down from there. We'll find out.
Okay, so wait, hold on.
Jump?
Right, Estinian down.
Are we talking
Oh,
spoilers?
yeah.
Oh
then?
yeah, spoilers.
we
Yeah,
need to-
we're yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
then we
yeah,
need
we're
to give
fine.
everybody a heads up that we are talking spoilers today.
The patch
Sorry, I
at
thought
this
we
point has
weren't.
been out for weeks. We're just not
So-
we're just not scoring the story today. We'll
Can I
talk
ask?
about
Oh,
what we
okay.
have so far, but
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
When you think of the first person you think of that you want to be able to hop through various world hopping teleport, who is it? Who jumps into your brain?
Alice, because I feel bad that we left her behind when we did the living memory bit. And you could tell she wanted to go. She wanted to go so bad. I'm like, I'm sorry,
There-
but you got to stay here and just guard the gate.
There's two who are equal for me, and that's Estinian and Ishtola.
Okay.
Ishtola, if I know what's on the other side, I mean, she can hold her own, but also, like, I think she's better in the research capacity right now, especially for
Mhm.
jumping. And an Estinian, if I know I'm going to have to wreck some fools.
Stab some dudes, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also don't want to take Y'shtola to another shard, have her fall in love with somebody else, and then be like, okay, now you have to say goodbye forever potentially. Like I don't want to do that to her.
But she doesn't have to say goodbye forever now, potentially, because theoretically we can just use our key.
So related, my guy is Runar.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull Runar through the gate, hand him to Y'shtola, and be like, "Have a good time. See you later."
There you go. I was just gonna make a comment. I'm like, does Y'shtola ever just like link pearl the warrior of light in the middle of the night? Be like, hey, can you take me over to the first?
Yeah, I kind of feel like I more than anything would want to bring some of the people from the first over, just because we've got this like big divide, and those two know that they exist now, but like they cannot break that barrier. So I think like Rain Gaia, I think like a lot of the different characters, it would be really good to have them be able to like actually have some kind of communication back and forth with the stars, other than just like through us as a proxy. And we already have them now working towards this balancing act, right? The void and the first, they're like exchanging this ether to try to slowly rebalance either planet, which kind of makes me go, oh, okay, is this like what we're aiming for? Like, are we going to be trying to go to these different shards that have these opposing polarities or something, or trying to like, balance out their ethereal imbalances or whatever it might be in those regards. I mean, I think it's really cool that we can travel. I think this idea of ethos is also really fascinating, because it's like, again, the idea of what you stand for, or what your like personal stances or belief or conviction.
Can I go on a tangent with ethos?
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. May I interrupt for just a moment first with my stupid joke? I don't know. Sharing ether sounds a whole lot like rejoining to me.
Yeah.
Well, maybe and maybe not, right?
Yeah.
Like,
all right, Charles.
Because, sorry, yeah, Charles, you first, and then we can talk about the theories of.
All right. Ethos. All right. There's 3 layers.
Yep.
First layer. Ethos means character, right? You know who you are at your core, right? Cool. That makes sense. Azem is a traveler. Makes sense. Cool. You build your ethos action by action, choice by choice. Yeah. Cool. Second layer. Ethos versus pathos versus logos, right? Your way to argue your point, right? Ethos is the appeal from lived experience, like Azem walking the star, knowing about it. And then, the other ancients were using more logos with Zodiarch, right? Or pathos with Vana going, no, we cannot lose these people. There's another bend there. And then the third one about ethos is it's like the spirit of a community, right? So that's where it gets like, is it our ethos to bring it all together, like bringing things across Sundered Worlds? Like there's so much. And then lastly, all the ancients love to use these words when they make things. Kairos. Kairos is a bit of the logical argument as well. It's the perfect time to make the argument. That's the idea of Kairos. We've got Elpis. We've got so many of these like Greek philosophy things. I will not go crazy on Aristotelian ethos and things like that, but there's so much here that it has to mean something. One of those 3 or all 3, who knows, right? I just love that they picked that word for it.
I think it's so smart. And I think it also gives us like perhaps an insight into, again, what we're fighting for moving forward.
Right.
I had somebody ask me recently on stream, which I thought was an interesting question, where they said, are they setting us up to go to this new shard, right? And to be like an anti-hero on it? Like, are we going to go to this new shard, and then now we're the one that's trying to further these disasters, like the warriors of darkness, or like and I was like, well, they could do this in the future story. Absolutely. They could cast us as an anti-hero because we were actually doing something that like was going to help in some way. But I was like, but I think that from what we have in the story right now, actually they've set us up to be the opposite, because the arguments that we're seeing here, what Halmarut puts before us, right, is that she has decided that with her knowledge of nature, the natural course, what seems to be happening, right, is that there does have to be a rejoining, and that in her mind, the best way to diminish the impact of loss of life is to be selective about who gets to live, and then like smush everything together so that some people survive and not everything is destroyed and taken back to like a primordial state or something, right? We don't know for sure what would happen, but maybe. And we are kind of being posited as the person who has said, like, we are out to prove you wrong. Our ethos is that is an unacceptable option, right? It's not like we say to Helmer, like, yeah, sounds great. Can I go to the next one and ruin it? And then we'll just like, like we seem to be of the other side of this, which is also the stance that Azem seemed to take in the ancient days, right? This idea that like there's another way. Exactly. There is another way. And maybe we don't know what that is right now, but I will find it. I will try to realize that like we have to find some other course. So to me, that's really like kind of what we're being set up for here. And I agree. I think, Alina, this whole concept of these ideas of where we are arguing our conviction from and what we're using to make those arguments is something that we've seen over and over and over and over in the game. Right. Now they have just given us this like metaphorical terminology that's like being used in the game that we're kind of seeing represented as well.
So I agree with you on all of that. However, when you first brought up the concept of us maybe being the anti-hero, though, the first thing that popped into my head was they sure don't call us the Warrior of Light on that shard.
It's true. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Like
maybe in Evercold will be the Warrior of Warmth.
Does the community have
Hot Warrior?
What was said there? Because remember, people were like,
it was hard to figure out what it was said.
It sounded like to me, Far Wanderer.
It sounded like Far Wanderer to me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard a Wanderer, but Far Wanderer also would work.
It's so hard to listen to. People have gotten the lyrics out of it already, or at least
they think they did anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know what was said really.
Maybe it was easier to tell in another language.
Yeah, and that's where people were going, and it's just Wanderer or Far Wanderer, and there's Wanderer in one of the titles instead of Evercold, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of promise for the story. I think the little tidbits we've gotten, even in the trailers and stuff, I'm very excited. And this concept of a wanderer, or what role we might play, what advantage is there in being a person that sees the world? And I think another tangent that kind of came up that was out of that discussion that we were having about like, will we be the anti-villain or the anti-hero? Was also this idea of like, okay, well, then does that mean that ultimately everything has to be a rejoining? And does it mean that all of the surviving shards like are out to destroy each other, like it's like a war of the reflections, and like they all want to be the one that survives? And I was like, well, we don't really know, do we? Like, we know that at least in the cases of reflections that have been manipulated by Ascians, they have been told that is what they have to do. That's why we see Ardbert do what he does. That's why even Sphene, like, robot Sphene, but either way, they try to merge the reflections because they're like, this is the only way that you'll survive, and you have to eat all of those people if you want to be the ones. You have to consume their souls if you want to be the ones that make it out of this alive, right? So we see people like being manipulated to this end. But really the biggest issue with the reflections at this point is that we have all this life, we have all these people, but everybody is contained. They are isolated. They cannot, even if they wanted to, go to learn about these other people. And so you have this sense of like, sure, who are you going to sacrifice? Like some people we don't know about on some other fictional place, or this place that we've called home that we've lived in forever, right? And so I think there is this incredible power to the idea of a wanderer, right? That we think of them maybe as just being a free spirit that doesn't want to be tied down to anybody. But in 14, I feel like a wanderer has very different connotations, in that when our world is the small one that we were born into, oftentimes the ways that we most dramatically open our horizons and come to know other people and have other experiences and realize that life has so many meanings and definitions beyond ourselves is by traveling. It's by speaking to people. It's by building bridges. It's by connecting one another. So I feel like I personally resonate with a lot of those themes, and I love the idea that like now literally we will be kind of moving around and tearing down these walls, and I think
It
trying
was
to
so
bring
beautiful.
isn't it amazing? Like it's really powerful. So I
Yeah.
love that this is kind of what we're seeing be set up, that we're creating connection. And I think that was Azem's great strength that wasn't always considered to be such. Um, but this idea that like everyone is living and breathing and sharing the experience of that, but the definition of what that means is different to each person as they live their life. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting that as a hero, our greatest strength could be not that we are strong or that we are the most powerful, but rather that we have the ability to see and acknowledge and to bring people together, and to transcend those boundaries of us versus them and say, we are all an us. We are all a we. And we all are in this together. Like we have to figure out how we move forward. So I really like where the story is setting us up. That's my long ramble of why I like where we're going. However, I did feel like the void stuff was a little bit redundant this patch, although they
Yeah.
did build on some stuff. But I was kind of like, this does feel like we're sort of just retreading ground to remind people that this is a thing and these are what the themes are.
Yeah,
You know?
it makes me think. We were talking about if we could take people through the portal. The whole idea, like this idea of like an old like early 2000s Flash video of like what we could do if we could just put anybody wherever we wanted. I would immediately go grab Unocal High, shove him in between Zero and Golbez, and just smash them together and be like, "This is where you belong." Like,
Yeah.
just
You
thinking
should
like
be
this like
here.
really bad like Flash animated cartoon, just like you here, stay.
Yeah.
But
Talk now.
but we did get a little bit of void stuff with the story, and I think it's setting it up a little bit to show that, you know, the barriers between worlds are thinning, right? And the best place to use that, the best example of that is the void with the source. And so that's, you know, that's kind of why we dipped back into there. That's why we dealt with void sent for the dungeon and the trial. And it's all right, you know, at some point you have to you might have to dip your toe back into the thing you don't want you to help course correct a little bit, right? From Dawn Trail into Evercold. So let's go ahead. I think anything else with the story before we move on into dungeon?
No.
No, I mean it's cool to Prey return again and see the B team. That's always great. I hope they become more than just the B team because I like them. But yeah.
Yeah.
That was really cool. You're totally right. Just to
was
see
cute.
those guys who, you know, are hanging out in the background being like, boy, I sure wish I was that cool. Well, get that cool. You can come along.
Yeah.
Come on.
A couple of them talk
Yeah.
about like how they've gotten better at what they do, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
show me.
It's so cute. It would be
Come
cute to see them show up with
along.
like main cast costume changes and stuff. But I really liked that they did talk about the ways that they had been supporting us even without us knowing. I thought that was very sweet, and again kind of like a reinforcement of this idea of like it is not just any one person, it is all of us. And I thought that was a really cool to see how they did that. Trying to think of like anything else specifically. The last parts of the patch, the cinematic, when you're doing the whole Zem crystal,
Yeah.
mysterious voice that's talking to you, there's been so much debate about that. Like, is it a Zem? Is it the crystal itself and it has some kind of sentience? Is it a different force? Does it have something to do with Auracite? Because the key seems to be Auracite. Like, is it Emmett's voice? Is it, a lot of people have been like theorizing. It's hard to tell at this point. I'm all for it being a Zem, since this was, by all accounts, a Zem's masterpiece.
Right.
However, I'm very curious where they're going to go, and I think that part of the patch had me the most excited.
All right, so let's get into our actual review now. Let's go into. We'll start with the dungeon. So the dungeon takes us, if you can find it, to the Clydium. Pronounced a little, or the Cludium, I think is how they.
It is
they
Cludium.
it.
That is what it is. Thank you.
Not quite close to what we were thinking it could be, but you know, words are weird sometimes. So
yeah.
basically the barrier is weakening a little bit between worlds. It's thinning out a little bit. Then the Void Sent go, hey, party over here, as they do on occasion with the source. And so we're basically just going through a part of Garlemald that's getting hit by these portals, and we're taking them out. The one thing that surprised me the most, and it's been a problem I've had with dungeons since Endwalker, because they merged the trial series into the MSQ. A lot of the dungeon bosses feel very much more like throwaway than they have before. Back in like 2.x, we'd get like Fenrir was a boss. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Or, and now in Dawn Trail, it's like, okay, well, I couldn't even tell you who the bosses of most of these dungeons are because they're immediately, one-upped by the trial immediately afterwards, mm-hmm. right? And so...
I don't know. I will never forget Thunder Pegasus. That guy was cool.
Well,
sure, yeah.
I think it's always kind of a balance, right? Because sometimes we love when the dungeon bosses are memorable and important, and other times we hate it because it's like, why was this a dungeon boss when it should have been a trial? Like, oh gosh, why can't I remember the primal's name right now? Final Fantasy X, Sad Mom.
Oh, Anima.
Sad Mom. I'm like...
Anima.
Okay.
Like Anima, for example.
Yeah.
Or, what is it with the elemental... I'm so bad at names today. Please forgive me. My ADHD is going so hard today. You have Barbaricia, so-and-so, but there was the one that was the water guy who was a dungeon boss.
Cognazo. Yeah.
Cognazo, that's it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird name.
Yes, it's very Italian. Cognazo. But it's like things like that where sometimes we have these moments where it's like, oh, it's kind of weird that this was just a dungeon boss.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just my little insert. Please continue.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like sometimes they're kind of cool, sometimes they're kind of not. Chat's talking about throwaway as in weaker, not irrelevant. I mean as in irrelevant. Like it doesn't matter who these bosses are because immediately you have this trial right afterwards. And it's just I couldn't tell you who the bosses of any of these dungeons were other than the 2-4 fiends from Endwalker.
Sure.
But what I really did appreciate with this dungeon is we at the end of this dungeon we fight a being called Malthus, and he shows up again in the story. Like they're setting him up like he might be a character going forward potentially, which is weird, but also interesting and appreciated, just given how everything I just said. So I appreciated that like that character is going to be potentially something of note going forward, or maybe it's just a little a little bit of extra something to emphasize that this boss was kind of important, and maybe we won't touch on it again until another 2 years when they're setting up 9.0. I don't know what the when we're going to see them again. But that helped to alleviate one of my biggest issues with these dungeons for the last couple of expansions.
I do wonder, they don't have to. I mean, we have so many of the Glacia, Labryllis, Angra Manu, all of these demons from antiquity. Malthus is literally like a deceiver. I don't know that they're going to use that, but that would be interesting. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're still out for themselves. That'd be really awesome. But like, they don't use most of it. Like, he's not a raven. Like, it's just interesting to use that name other than, we just grabbed a demon. Whatever.
Yeah.
I would like that though, because I do think one thing about this, about him as a character and about this patch that I feel divided about is the Void Sent. Because on one hand, I do think that exploring the fact, and we already had some of this with the Void patches, right? But exploring the fact that the Void Sent have more humanity in them than we would have thought, given the vast majority of the game, is not unimportant, right? I think that is important. I do think we need to see that. I think the remnants and vestiges of people that exist within these warped, amalgamous beings is something that is really powerful and really good. But I also would like to have some Void Sent that still have some fangs. Like, And I was starting to get a little worried that they were going to be like, and then everybody on the Void is just like, you know what?
We're
We
just
are
chilling."
tired. I think maybe, yeah, we're just going to chill now and we're all going to be cool. We're going to go hang out at Zero's place.
Yeah.
It's like, at some point, hopefully, we can help the Void and we can help these beings to some degree. But like, also the fact that they've been monstrously warped is still something that I think is relevant. So I hope they don't go like too far in. Like, I would love it if we had, yeah, him as like ultimately being a deceiver or something. Or if we ever get a Void expansion, we have something where we get to see Void Scent that like are still Void Scent as we would picture them. Because like, yeah, we're getting to the point where I think they're very much trying to build this picture of like shared humanity and cooperation. But I'm also like, but the Void is kind of fun because it is full of a bunch of ravenous creatures that have had their humanity stripped from them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
But we know Chort would never deceive us.
Chort would never.
No.
Yeah, Chort was great. I have to say in this dungeon, Chort was really good. Honestly, I actually liked this dungeon a lot more than I thought I would. I thought for a dungeon that was using two contrivances that we've had a lot of recently, namely Garlean-inspired tech dungeons and Void Scent related dungeons. And by recently, I mean, I guess
Within the last 5 years.
within the yeah, like, well, we just had so many of them. I think in Endwalker and then in the patch cycle. You know, like all things considered. But I thought they did a nice job of presenting this in a way where, yeah, some of the bosses were memorable. And that last fight in particular is really cool. I love the theming of that kind of like puppet master vibe. I think the Chort has become an internet celebrity. So I think it was fun.
Yeah, I felt the same way. The fights were good. It's nice to go back to Garlemald after they were done dirty and Endwalker and see a little bit more of that area.
Yeah.
I thought music was solid. And then, yeah, boss fights were fun. So I you know, obviously there's still the repetition that is the Final Fantasy 14 dungeon, and you pull this amount of things, you fight a boss, you do, you know. But I you know, as far as the theme and the skin of it this time around, I enjoyed it.
How about you,
I
Zen?
seem to be the odd man out on Chort. Like everybody loves this weird guy, and I look at him and I'm like, I don't like it.
I don't know if I would say I loved him.
To...
It's just, I think it's just a funny name, and people just
It is a very funny name.
There's people just want to grab onto something too and be excited about, and right now that's Chort.
I had somebody describe him to me as giant purple Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that in a dungeon, and I was like, oh, I hate that you're right.
One thing that I didn't know about him, I had forgotten, and I played The Witcher, so I should not have forgotten. But Chort is actually a type of demon.
Yeah.
So it comes from like Ukrainian folklore and various folklore in the region. That is kind of like a stand-in for a lot of different kind of demonic forces, like Slavic folklore and things like that. So yeah, it's a real thing. A Chort is an actual entity. It's like a demon.
A Chort.
A Chort.
People are just gonna, man, you're such a Chort. Like, what does that mean? Because everybody loves Chort. Is this a positive thing? Is this a good thing? Yeah. Is it one of those like it depends on how you say, like, oh, you're such a Chort. You're such a Chort. Like I don't know.
Well, apparently in Russian, Chort is like used in a variety of curses. Like it is, again, it's like a word, like be taken by this demon, like blah 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 Chort. Like it's like in there. So yeah.
It could be an article of clothing. It's like, hey, I'm wearing a pair of shorts.
All of this discussion is giving me a chortle.
Okay.
There we go. Like that. I like that.
How dare.
Yeah, overall, I thought this dungeon was fun though. I thought it had some nice details. I honestly feel like this dungeon gave me more actual Garlemald than Garlemald did. A lot of the like scale and scope of the backdrops, the cityscapes, the factory, right? Like we got to see these parts of how the Garlean nation and war machine and massive empire kind of looked or functioned in a way that we haven't really practically seen. So I enjoyed that. I thought all the demons were fun. The
fights
first
were
boss,
fun.
yeah, the fights were fun.
Mhm.
What was the first boss? The first boss
The
is
the Aramon tank with the
Oh,
weird like grid kind
right.
of thing,
That
yeah,
guy.
or
Yeah,
the stand
yeah.
the motion detector
Motion
mechanic,
detector,
yeah.
Yep.
which is very fun to break.
Yeah, it's
try
super
and, like,
fun.
slide
Just
through it.
fucking dash through it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
Oh no, I mean we're gonna go through the score.
Yeah.
Anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
I'll just
mean,
wait till then.
yeah.
All right, so the way we're gonna do this now, I just realized like we started talking about this and I'm like, oh, we didn't break it down how we're so
Yeah.
whoops. So this is how this is gonna work, everybody. So typically with our review scores, I like to try and make things a nice even 100. It's a nice number, it's an easy number, it's, you know, everybody knows a score out of 100. And so how we're gonna do this with each part that we review for the patch, we're gonna break it down. Each of us gets 25 points to throw into the bucket. That gives us a nice number out of 100. That gives us a score. And then we'll take all those scores, we'll combine them, we'll average them out all the way at the end. So right now for our dungeon, let's go ahead and we'll break this down. I gave it a 22, Zen gave it a 22, Aldino gave it a 20, and Rook gave it a 21. So that's a B. That's just boom right there, 85 out of 100. So that is the Clutium.
Yeah, and we realized that for those of you, we had this discussion behind the scenes,
Yeah.
that for those of you who are not in the United States, our grading scale system,
Like, what
which
is
draws from
this?
schools, aka this is a B, is probably not going to make much sense.
But we have
so
the
that's
number.
Why that's why we also have the number, so you have an idea of what the score is out of 100. So yeah, I would say that this one, it seemed like it landed well with all of us. And while it maybe wasn't like one of the most standout dungeons of all time, it was still, I think, a solid one. Good mechanics.
It was
good
nice to get back to
landscapes.
Garlemald, because Garlemald deserved so much better than it's gotten with Endwalker and everything. So it was nice to dip our toes back into that for a little bit.
I've been a big fan of most of the dungeons overall. Just because the formula isn't different, but the boss fights have been more fun, a little bit more challenging, and any dungeon that makes me actually pay attention so that I don't, half sleep and die is great.
It's nice to be able to get through it and have to actually pay attention, just like a little bit.
Yeah.
Use the brain a little bit. So yeah, it's a solid B for the Clutium. So that'll take us into our discussion for the trial next. So this was Enuo. Who is Enuo? Why do we care about Enuo? I don't know. The story didn't really do a good job of explaining that to me. Why is Gamora? Who is Gamora? They kind of just show up, and Golbez is like, oh yeah, he was like, I don't know, chilling at the bottom of the ocean or something. And he probably heard everybody making a ruckus, and he's like coming out to see what's going on. And I'm like, that's it. That's the only description. He was just chilling down there, and he heard the kids upstairs making some noise, and he came to see what was happening.
When we heard Inuo, I thought of so many more things, because Inuo is like the creator of the rift. Like, are we going to do some Ascian stuff? Was he the reason why the Ascians can get through, or what? I don't know, but nope.
Just none of that.
Yeah.
They're just like, we need a design, we need a name. How about this dude from FF5 Advanced specifically?
Yep.
Sure.
That felt very. He felt very out of the blue. He felt very out of the blue. Like, and I agree. I think there was a lot of good potential. And, I was just saying, here I was moments ago saying, I still want some void scent that have teeth to them. Theoretically, he's supposed to be, right? Like they said, he's the last really great, powerful void lord on the void. And in my head, I was like, oh no, I hope not. Because if we come here for an expansion, that's going to be the most underwhelming thing that's ever happened. Like, what do you mean?
Maybe we go to the 4th and we forget to close the lid on Ethos, and some guys crawl over to the void.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, maybe. It's very possible as well that they've just decided that they're done with the void, and they were like, the void would be too predictable, and we've solved it now. They're going to be all nice. Zero's going to make them nice, and the last big one died, and now like they're going to balance out the energies. Like, it's possible, and maybe the story will take us to places so far beyond that, like, we're going to be like, oh, it doesn't even matter. Like, that was totally fine.
And that was part of the surprise, right, with the MSQ was like, oh wait, we're going back there? I thought we were done. And Yoshida's like, yeah, it will take like thousands of years for anything else to happen here. So like, I hope you enjoyed your stay in the void. We're good here. And then it's like, oh, but we're back.
Yeah.
We're leaving again.
So
Okay.
he felt kind of out of the blue. I would have liked to see him framed a little bit more strongly, or for them to have done something else entirely, right? Like maybe Helmarut decides to test our resolve and
Reflexes.
test our reflexes
No.
and like summon some kind of, I don't know, nature
Giant
being
squirrel.
to fight us, or yeah, a giant squirrel, you know, like maybe something, or even like a boss
Guy
that
wielding a
maybe
scythe.
a guy wielding a scythe, like maybe not Xenos though.
No.
God.
Or
Us,
maybe
us.
like it's a foreshadowing of Evercold, or you know, like, and
Mhm.
something bursts through from some other realm that we've never been to, a different reflection. It's not just the void sense, something else has come through. Like, I think it could have been a little more interesting. As for
Mhm.
the fight itself, I have not yet done the extreme. I've heard people speak favorably of the extreme, but from my experience in normal, I'm gonna be real, I was kind of underwhelmed. I like the little intermission. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
I
very
thought
cool.
that phase was probably my favorite part of it, just from like a conceptual.
Yeah, it was
like,
cool.
It's really
Mm.
cool, and I love that like you cannot see the boundaries of an arena, and like
Cannot
all of
find
that
the
was-
boundaries of the arena.
Yes, like I really loved that. I genuinely thought that was super impactful.
Just
but
fun.
that was the highlight of the fight for me, and
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
all the rest of it, I was like, this is perhaps one of the most unmemorable trials I've done so
for
far.
me, the mechanic that sticks out is definitely that giant ass room where it's like, is there an edge to this? Like, how far does this go?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Can't find the
and
boundary.
That's really cool. The one with the where the puddles follow you and then also like
Yeah.
switched players like halfway through, that was interesting
It's cool.
to me. I ran it again last night to get a little refresher on it, and ooh boy, there was a lot of the party died, and so there were 3 people left, and so 2 people got those. And then both of them pointed at the one guy. And I'm not saying that he got cornered because it's a circular arena, but yeah, he got squished real hard by getting those second puddles there. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. Mechanics were fine to me. I think the part that annoys me a little bit, and obviously you don't deal with this probably as much in the extreme version, it's just that cutscene in the middle after you break out of that little portal. It's just like, okay, man, like if you're getting this in roulette, like you just want to go, you want to get it done, you're like, okay, cool, well, I'm gonna sit here for a minute and watch this cutscene. That's all right, you know, it is what it is, because it's meant to be a story beat. It's not just this thing you
not
are gonna
to beat
theoretically
a dead horse
cue
though.
into
If
all
you're
the
getting
time.
in roulette, it's not for you.
Fair.
No, I mean,
That is
but that is the cornerstone of gameplay right now, and so I don't know if they've done things to try and make that better for certain content over the years. But yeah, that's just a little nitpick for me there. But I think that the biggest gripe is just, who is Enyo? Why is he here? Why should I care about this character? And they did not give me an answer for that. In an expansion too, especially with coming out of Endwalker with a lot of just heavy references for the sake of having the heavy references. I think it was a disservice to use this character and not do anything neat with him. They, give me one little quest afterwards that explains who this guy was.
Sure.
But there was
Yeah, like the
nothing.
Fiend.
There was nothing there. And it's just the trial series. Well, it's not even a trial series anymore, right? But the characters, the entities that they have picked for the trials in Dawn Trail feel so scattered. I don't know if they were struggling on finding something that unified all these trials, or like what happened with this. At least in Endwalker, we had, it was the 4 lords, or not the 4 lords, 4 fiends. But here it's just like, here's like a robot Beatrice, a Necron, like it's just all this weird kind of like weird stuff. And yeah, it didn't get any better with Enyo.
Yeah, that is my main point to add. Like, I agree with just about everything that's said, but like, to Deep Six the trial series and go, we're putting it in the MSQ, that to me said they're going to be much more important, they're going to be much more impactful. The reason that you're fighting these things will make a lot more sense, and it will be tied directly into the story. And now, I mean, yes, you have to do it to get to the next thing, just like Doom Train. you got to get through Doom Train to get to the next thing. But it just doesn't feel like they meshed it fully into the MSQ. Like that is my complaint, because when we had a trial series, those all work together. Now when it's in the MSQ, it's kind of like, yeah, Doom Train's here. Okay. Didn't need to be.
They did Doom
cool.
Train so dirty, pulling an FF8 GF and giving it an FF9 battle track. Like, what? What is going on?
The funny thing is, though, is that I actually really enjoyed the Doom Train fight.
Yeah, the fight was great.
I thought that it also, at the very least, the Doom Train fight felt more connected to me because it is of relevance to like the ongoing lore of that particular reflection, right? That it's like, well, as this great war that we've heard. Oh, hold on, can you all hear me? Sorry, I thought I cut out for a second.
You're good.
Like when this great war unfolded on the 9th that we have heard mentioned over and over and over, you know, these nations destroyed one another. Like they, you know, destroyed the planet. They pushed this development of Electrope to the point where, you know, they were just trying to see, like in a huge arms race, who can annihilate each other first. And so it felt to me like actually having a trial that showed something from that era, and this idea that you would just make this train that would just like cross these huge distances and just forcibly convert any life into tempered servants of this country and this entity. I was like, oh, that actually makes me scared of this train to some degree. And I never thought that I would care at all about this train other than like, oh, how novel. It's an evil train, you know?
Yeah, I've still only ever done Doom Train once. I've never gotten it in a roulette since then, which is kind of weird. And I think they did a good job of weaving Doom Train into the story. I think my biggest gripe with it was the music selection, because it's not an FF9 boss. In an expansion that was already so FF9 heavy. It's like, give us just a little bit of a reprieve. And they didn't. But I think that was overall, Doom Train was woven into the story. I think probably better than definitely better than NUO. Yeah. NUO, it felt like they were just like, well, trials need to be something that are from a previous game. What can we pull in that maybe deals with the void? And they found NUO, and they're like, oh, well, he can also do like this and this and this. It's like, yeah, but we're not gonna do that. We just needed something, and that they just kind of threw him, and that's kind of what it feels like, and it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, but I to circle back, I wanted to say that, Aldi, I think your point is really valid about the idea of, if we're going to incorporate the trial series into the main story, then why did we do that? You know,
resources, budget.
Honestly, at the time, yeah, it feels like probably it was just that they were trying to cut down on the amount of independent content they were going to be having to dole out that would have its own story, its own plot, its own things. And they were like, why don't we just integrate this? And I think that the point that you brought up is something that we heard about as well. This idea of, well, they can be more impactful if they're in the main story. They can be bigger bosses that have direct relevance to what's going on. But I think that if it ends up being something where they're finding that these trial bosses in the MSQ just is another thing for them to add to this checklist, where it's like, oh, well, we're supposed to have a trial this patch, so I guess just shove some kind of enemy in there and like make it work as a thing because we have to have this fight. That's one of those, that's like when I'm starting to go, well, then why have we done this? You know what I mean? Like,
it was interesting to listen to Fusion point out the fact that they put all of these trials in the story, and recall that for years beforehand, I think all of us were kind of like, why are these trials by themselves? Why don't they put them in the MSQ? Sort of like what we've said about the raid series as well. Why aren't these part of the MSQ? And then to have them do it and have us be like, well, we didn't like that. And I'm just thinking, why didn't we like that? Well, and then Charles hit it right on the head. Charles hit it right on the head. It's because, I mean, you can do a thing, but not do it well.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and also for me, I mean, this started with Endwalker's patch cycle, right? This started with the 4 Fiends, and it's I still stand by it. They copy pasted 4. There was a little bit of original storytelling in there, but the foundation of 6.x is just a copy pasted 4. Zero has this moment where she goes from a Dark Knight to a Paladin. Golbez redeems himself. It's FF4, and it felt so lazy.
So for me,
and we didn't get that extra story with that we would have gotten from the trials. We were robbed of an extra story after Whirl It too, and Whirl It was amazing. So it's like they took that away from us and gave us like, we copied some other game's homework, and that was like, that's why it felt bad.
The whole like concept of trial becoming part of the MSQ for me, like I feel like we've been talking about it since Shadowbringers. I feel like it was way before Endwalker.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we've talked about a lot. And the thing is that all story will land differently for different people. Like the Void series stuff did not work for Fusion. I know a lot of people who it didn't work for.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Zen on the side of like, it was fine. I, again, don't care that they used a lot of the same narrative moments from 4 because those are cool. And there's a reason that people love that game and they love those arcs. Like they are not by any means just contained to 4. They are themes that we see constantly crop up in media and stories that people like, you know, the idea of this like, you know, somebody having a deep personal reflection and change, and now suddenly they have emerged as something else or as a hero. Or I think a lot of it, again, is just this disservice to trying to cram it all into a patch cycle.
Yeah.
And then like really just not having time to be able to flesh out this world, these stakes, these characters, the way that the overall story is communicated. Because 14 has drawn on a lot of narrative arcs, plots, etc., from other Final Fantasies, sometimes to greater or lesser effect, sometimes to more or less noticeable degrees as well, right? So it's just like, I don't, you know, it's, to me, it's like, I don't care that they use this. Again, I just want to see them do it well. And I think that with the integration of things like these trials, it does beg this big question then of like, okay, well, we can't just have these feel like a checklist that we're shoving in. If we're going to use them in the main story, then we need to create a story around those that builds to this point. I mean, even just having us face that guy, the cool the cool Malphus, like even having us face him in some kind of extended version or fight would have felt more like we had set up surrounding that, and then we convince him that maybe it's, you know, maybe he does need to think about things differently, you know, maybe it's not just about who is the mightiest anymore, maybe he has a moment of humanity, or we manage to connect to him, or I think that there are ways they could have done it. And so I hope they keep thinking about this moving forward, because this wasn't a bad fight. Again, it wasn't bad. There were parts of it that were fine, but I was just kind of like, oh, I really thought that if we're getting excited and hyped for this next expansion, we might have some cooler stuff that would lead us that way. And this fight was just sort of like oh, okay, sure. What's up next? Like, it's cool, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll go over our scores here for The Unmaking. I gave it an 18. Zen gave it a 20. Aldino gave it a 20, and Rook gave it a 19. So that's going to be a 77 out of 100. Or if you're American, that's a C+. So,
yeah, like a 3.9 if you want to do that resolution.
If you really want to boil it down and put a decimal in there and get super fancy with your math,
because we didn't want to do the decimals, so this gives us that resolution, which is great.
Yeah, it's like a passing grade, but nothing to write home about. Nothing like
which is
super amazing.
That's Enuo.
Yeah, I think it worked. Yeah.
I didn't know that I didn't want to see a shirt made out of tentacles, and now I know that I don't want to see a shirt made out of tentacles.
Yeah, sure.
Is that why you don't like Chort? Did you like look at Chort's feet or something, and you were just like, oh?
After Ruby Weapon, I try not to look at the mob's feet because I just don't.
Sure.
I don't want to have a bad
I understand.
time.
I understand.
Yeah. Thank you for your support.
All right. That'll take us into the last score we're going to give here for our first part of the 7.5 review, and that's going to be the raid. This is the last part of Echoes Vana'diel. This is Windurst, the third walk. It was a raid. It is one of the raids of all time. It had good parts. I'll say that. Windurst I thought looked really nice. It's easy to do like an overgrown thing there, and it still looks like it fits and it makes sense. That was great. The second area with Alzabi, boy, that was it felt like Timu Alzabi. It just the scale was wrong. Some of the positioning of the area in general was wrong. The texture work felt lesser than some of the other zones we've seen in Dawn Trail.
They put all the effort into Winders for sure.
Yeah, and then it takes us into Alexander, which was a cool surprise because that means we get to fight Alexander, and that means we also get the Ragnarok Orchestrion roll, which is one of the best tracks from 11. But you fight Alexander in the incorrect room in the Alzadal Undersea Ruins. If you look out through the windows, there's no water, so that's wrong.
Yeah, that part annoyed me.
Yeah, that's weird.
So that's not
Just
right.
it's so pretty.
Yeah. You're fighting Alexander. Ragnarok is playing. There's no Odin. There's no reference of Odin. That's could have been worked on a little better. And then we go from there to Garden of Ruhamet. That was fine. And then we get Promathia. Promathia I actually really liked. I liked how they did. Really There's a phase in Promathia where you have to fight the memory receptacles, and it gives you the different emptied guys from Promathia or from Promethean, the Promethean content in Final Fantasy XI. If you look back, you can see one of the towers behind Promathia. That was really cool. That was a really cool way to represent that part of 11 in a fight, because there's so many elements of 11, and it's you can't include everything. So that was a nice way to do that. Shinryu was interesting. That first phase. The final boss. The final boss of this raid is the most insulting thing I've ever seen to Final Fantasy XI's memory done in this game. I had a friend of mine, we had her on the show a while back when we were talking about the raid. Squig she said she was seeing red at the end of this fight. Hollowed King sucked. I don't know what they were thinking. I was really hoping when we saw Alzabi in the trailer that would be like, oh, okay, cool. So we'll bring in the stupid two-headed Mamulja thing here, get rid of that, and then actually have a boss that's like important to 11. And they didn't. Instead, what they did is they took Shinryu, who's already a merged being between Promathia and a character named Celthius. He's already a merged creature. And then they take him and merge him with another creature, and they come up with this weird abomination that's floating. We're fighting him on a platform, but his animation is like he's still standing and his tail is weighted like it's on a floor. Not great. It's also the music kicks in, the first original track we've had in this entire raid series, which is fine by itself, but the way that this transition happens makes it feel like a bring the light kind of moment where it's like, oh yeah, we're doing this, we're fighting, and I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I was so upset about it. And yeah, I didn't like it. I did like the gear rewards to a point. This entire raid series, all I've wanted is gear that we were able to obtain in 11. The first series we had Archangel gear, which is something they added into 11 after that raid came out. So that was wrong there. The second one was mascot gear, which is some of it is player modeled kind of stuff. We didn't get male dancer AF because it was modeled after Lilith, who is the female dancer character from Wings of the Goddess, which is the only representation Wings of the Goddess got in this entire raid. There was no Wings of the Goddess. There was no Seekers of Adeline. We don't even go to the Walk of Echoes, which is like the core of like what this entire raid series is. Each raid thing is like the first walk, the second walk. I'm like, it'd be cool if like we ended this in like the Walk of Echoes with like a Tomos hanging down from the sky or something. Didn't even mention it. Nothing there. No mention of Aroha either, which they just ran the Rhapsody event again. She's supposedly floating around. No, she's not here. Like, it's just, man, they bungled this so hard. Like, they really, really did. There was, again, a couple great parts of it, but overall, just like, I would have been fine if they did something else for this raid series, because they just did not deliver this in the way that I wanted to see.
So I completely agree about Windurst. It looked great. So good. Like, you sit down in there, you look around, you're like, holy crap, this is Windurst. I spent so much time RPing in this stupid zone. So that was really fun to see. It was strange to go immediately into a boss fight. That's not normal. It's kind of cool though. I was happy to beat up Shantoto, and then really depressed when it was just a doll. Because of playing that game, I have a massive dislike for that character. I know she's well loved, but she sucks. She's a jerk.
She's not nice.
She has also tried to destroy the world. She sucks.
Yeah.
it was nice that she was rhyming the whole time, though. I appreciate that they actually did do that.
There were some concerns about that when we saw the trailer. They didn't really show that was going to be a thing. But yeah, she did, and so good. That was good. It was nice to see.
The fights overall, they were cool. There was some variety in there that we don't normally see. At the very least, things were mixed up order wise. Maybe not in like actual content wise, but it felt fresh enough. It didn't feel to me as fun as the previous ones, though. Like that freaking Come the Knot fight is Will You Live?
Fair point.
I don't know. But so these fights were fine. I kind of agree with Fusion on the last fight. Like I don't have a whole lot invested in the things that I wanted to see out of this, but I was just kind of like, this is dorky. Look at his face. Every time I do that fight and he does his transformation, I'm getting a phone call. Shoot.
Well,
yeah,
okay.
It's rough. Like every time, because there's that little cutscene that plays too. I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, all right, here we go. We're doing this again. I was playing it yesterday, and there's a mechanic in that last fight with the Hollowed King where you like grab a thing to like do a shield. I call it the Cridden shield. Yeah. Because it's so bad.
Oh my gosh. You know, it's interesting because and when Sinidra comes back, we can obviously jump back over what she was saying.
Yeah, for sure.
But as somebody who, again, is not an 11 player, and I went into my first run of it with a group of people, a couple of whom were 11 players, everybody else weren't. And funnily enough, the 11 players that we had, the 2 11 players that we had in that run, loved it. Yeah. Now, the rest of the group also seemed to enjoy it. And I have to say that, like, personally, I did like the final one. I thought, I really thought the Shantaro fight was hilarious. We died so hard to it. We had to, like, reset twice with everybody. And this was like day of release, I think, again. Sure. So everything was like total chaos.
Oh yeah.
And I thought like a lot of the other fights they felt fun, they felt memorable. I am obsessed with how Shinryu looks. Like that whole reveal and the duo platforms, like to me that felt like such a cool idea. How can we keep making space more dimensional in our fights? How can we keep breaking this square, this circle, this here is the thing you fight in kind of feeling? And while in this 24-man, I don't think they obviously pushed it to the extent that you would if this was a mechanic showing up in like a very hard extreme or a savage or let alone an ultimate, right? Like I still really liked the concept and I liked the idea that there were things that were bopping you back and forth between them. I thought Shinryu's model was so cool. And I really liked the big reveal of is it Absolute Virtue? Is that what he's called? No, he's the final guy. Oh, Pramathia, the big guy, that guy. I thought he was really neat. I understand why they had to change his arena because there were some issues with people with the visual effect and the floor making them feel like very discombobulated during that fight. Yeah. But I have to say, I'm kind of sad that other players won't have that same impression and impact when they come into the arena.
You can still see Vanadil underneath. I mean, the problem is like you need to know to look for it, and only 11 players are really gonna get that. Same thing with Shinryu So when you fight Pramathia, you're over Vanadil, you're over the planet. When you fight Shinryu, you're over the moon. And if you look over down and to the left, it's not directly under you like it was in 11 because they have these stacked platforms. But if you look kind of down and over to the left, you can see Altair on the moon as well. Yeah. So I appreciate that they kept that detail. Yeah.
Yeah, like the transparent floor, when I first landed in there, I was like, whoa, like it was so cool. I was like really excited. Now, I agree with what Zen was saying, and I'll pass it back over to her here on this note, which is that I agree that the final boss is dorky. Like when they revealed him, I was like, that's very dumb. And I want to also say, though, that like it's not as though things can't be dumb. I mean, by all accounts, like a demon-possessed train is dumb. It's dorky and it's dumb. There's a lot of stuff in the Final Fantasy franchise and JRPGs as a whole that's just dorky. And sometimes that ends up becoming really memorable. Other times, I don't think it necessarily lands. I think the big thing for me with this particular raid series was that I feel like they worried a little too much about I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. I can only speak from my perspective.
Mhm.
Sure.
As a non-11 player, I felt like they worried a little bit too much about using 11's material in 14, because for me it meant that we had this kind of disconnected story about this guy who like wants to use this stuff from 11
Yeah.
to like bring back to like the king, but like a version of him that's mega
Right.
strong. And so like for me it felt very disconnected and kind of weird. And the fact that the final boss was that felt like they felt as though, oh well, we have to make the story that we used in this have some kind of relevance, so we'll make him like really big and that'll be like the final boss. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I almost wish that you hadn't used any of this and that Iroha had just shown up and been like, hey, I show up sometimes for these events. And now we're gonna do a whole 11 raid series. And I know that some people might not have wanted to see the characters directly used as literally or stuff like that. But to me, the story just felt like one of the weaker points. And so I feel like the dorky moment at the end that Zen, like you were talking about, just felt all the dorkier because I didn't really care about the story that much. Like, not that it was terrible, but like I felt like they
Yeah.
could have used the 11 stuff to much greater, more mysterious, more interesting effect than the kind of story that we had.
Yeah, I mean the whole like
Oh, sorry,
launch.
sorry. I was going to let Zen finish
Oh,
because
yeah,
I know she
sure.
said that she really wanted to talk about the rest. Are you good with the phone call and stuff?
No.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, never mind.
So I think when the whole story for Echoes of Vana'diel, like their launch pad was like, it's by Mamook and Mamul Jah were in 11. Like that was like the connection, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I played 11 a bit. I played through Otter Gone. I beat that expansion completely. I played Blue Maid. I enjoyed it. Like, I agree with most everything they've said. I did Prometheans. I did all that stuff. But the last boss, like, I was expecting, okay, so he's going to find a vessel for him. Cool. Are we going to make a new one out of Electrope? Bringing in all these pieces of other 11 things that we didn't have time for? Because that would have been cool, right? Like if we said that he was channeling this power and that power, and there's multiple phases of bosses that we didn't get to see.
Sure.
Like a really like quick tour on top of the quick tour that we got.
We would be having a very different conversation right now if Rook had seen Lilith.
Oh yeah, we would. We certainly would. Absolutely. But it is interesting to me that they were just like make him big and make him a wall boss, and I'm like, come on, man, like that's
Yeah,
doubly disinteresting.
It's weird because like you already have like, okay, like here's the banter from the NPCs too doesn't really help. He's like, I wonder what they'll do this time. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did this. I'm like, none of these are real, right? But like at the same time, it's like, okay, here's like literally the god of creation. Yeah, no, he's like easy, like whatever, like he's big nothing burger. Oh, here's like the enhanced, evolved version of the god of creation. Yeah, it's fine, but then we're gonna like merge him with this other thing that's not technically real, and it's weird, it's messy, and it's I don't know what they could have done to make it better, because we talked about this, like there's so many different things they could have done with this raid, right? They could do Final Fantasy 14's greatest hits, or 11's greatest hits, which is kind of what they did. They excluded 2 expansions from by doing that, but and then they left out Bastok, which isn't something we talked about either yet. So we had Juno the first walk, Sandoria the second walk, Windurst the third walk. Juno wasn't even one of the starting cities. They could, oh Jesus. That was the basiest jump scare I think we've ever had on this podcast. But yeah, there's a mention to Bastok right at the end, and it's just Shantoto's like, oh yeah, I was like hanging around and I saw like some like half done version of Bastok. I'm like, why you gotta like try and drag it down the one time you mention it too? Like, as somebody that like Bastok was my place, like, dude, I'm so pissed at that, like the way that they handled that. Like, it's surprising. Like, it's really surprising that they greenlit doing this raid series the way they did, where they purposefully left out one of the 3 starting cities. It's just I don't know what the right words are. It's baffling that they thought that would be okay. And then afterwards, after you finish the raid series too, they have the framers kit. So if you're an 11 player that did this and you're like, oh cool, now I can rep 11 in my portrait, no Bastock stuff. Cool.
Like, that would have been an easy win.
Starter cities, but they don't have that one.
No.
Yep.
No. They give us an orchestrion role for Gustaberg and for Bastock, and that's it.
Okay.
So honestly, it's like how very dare. Like it's insane to me that they thought that was okay.
I do have to say that, like, I mean, I was surprised that they wouldn't put all of the starter cities because, again, I think I've said it before on the podcast, but that's like if they were doing a 14 homage raid in, I don't know, Final Fantasy 20, the next MMORPG, and they've decided to use the city states, but then they were just like, but no Ul'dah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
It's very weird, and people would be upset about it. Like them doing a little nod or wanting to go to other places, I guess, in like the actual raids themselves, fine. I still think they could have even just made like a little zone that would have added on to the hub or something that could have been Bastock. But the fact that all of that aside, they don't even have a framer kit for people that started in one of the starting city states, but they have every other one is really baffling to me. Like,
that's pretty strange.
That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
When they do the little portion in the quest line where they're like, here's pictures of a bunch of places, I was like, look, there's Bastock. That's the only place it shows up.
Yeah.
What the heck was I talking about? No, I don't want to.
You were talking about how dorky the final boss was.
Yeah.
That's where you left off.
Okay, yeah. Every time that friggin' guy comes on the screen and he starts talking, they don't animate his mouth. He just goes, ha, 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 ha. It just cracks me up every friggin' time. Can't take it serious. What I do actually really like about that fight is the up and down part. Like we've had some vertical stuff in other fights this expansion.
I love the verticality.
Well, like, it's cool. Very, very cool. Gosh, what else? Promathia was cool. It's one of the, I think it's funny that they had to change the floor because it was one of the only fights with a mostly clear floor that didn't give me vertigo.
Oh,
like in what's it called? Never Reap, where you have to like fall down to hit the jump pad to keep going. And sometimes you fall through the jump pad a little bit before it actually sends you. That actually like flip flops my stomach. I didn't realize that I had that particular fear, but I learned it from this video game. However, the Promathia fight didn't bother me, so I thought it was strange that they actually had to update it.
Yeah.
It was I played it once before they patched it, and it was I don't know, it was off-putting, but something did kind of feel weird about it, and obviously that's also learning the fight as well. So but at least you can still see it, you can still get the idea of what's going on. So
yeah,
I had so many thoughts, and now they are lost to the artwork that I had to explain.
Yeah.
I made a nice video and I sent it to the guy, and he apparently forwarded it, and he's like, it's too blurry for them, they can't understand it. And I'm like, it's not my video because I have a brand new phone.
Jeez.
But yeah.
We talked a little bit about gear. I think in this.
Oh, that is the other thing I wanted to talk about.
This last one, this was the best gear out of
I feel
all three.
Like it was the worst.
That's so interesting.
Okay, why was
it? Why was it the worst?
Because I don't care about any of that gear.
So here's the thing. I agree with you, but this is the first time that we really truly got gear from 11.
See,
was this last leg?
Yeah, it's true, and I know that you wanted that, so I'm glad that they put some of it in.
None of the jobs are for jobs I played. None of it's for anything I played.
I don't think that the AF designs, especially the early AF designs, which these are from 11, are great compared to anything that we already have in 14. So like that's my issue with it. So I mean, if you like are in 14 right now and you're like, man, I'd really love something that makes me look like a red mage. We have a million things like that already. And so they're like, here's red mage gear from 11. It's like, but we already have hats with feathers. We already have if they hadn't already unlocked jobs too, like it would have been great for white mage to have something that looked like red mage for like the first time ever, except they can just put the red mage gear on now.
Yeah, that still bothers me.
I liked the gear from this one, but I found myself wishing again that they had just given us more variety across all of them, and that they'd given us unique looks for every single one of the categories.
Why give us AF1 and AF2 from like 6 jobs?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Why limit? Yeah. Why limit that? Why not give us several more? I guess work, but it bummed me out. That gear bummed me out. I know you weren't a fan, but I really liked when they were doing the NPC gear. That those to me felt more precious. I don't know, and I would have liked to have gotten, especially because we actually did go to Elzabi. I think they said it different than I've always said it, but we went to Ottergon. And I love Afmal's outfit. I love Luzov's outfit, and we will never freaking see
the thread of gear rewards. It's multiple threads. Like there's no straight through way of like, okay, here's like the gear for this raid. They're all different chunks. It feels so disorganized. Like there wasn't like a game plan when they started out or something, because the first two are like NPC mascot-y kind of things, and then the third one is just like AF for like basic designs that we already have in 11. It's like, you want to look like a paladin, now you can look like an 11 paladin. It's like, all right, like I could do, here's a monk gi.
Yeah,
cool.
Yoshiki actually called a special meeting. He was like, guys, Fusion is unhappy. we got to put some AF in the game immediately.
It's so funny.
And yet, no, hold on. There's an end to this joke. And yet, during the meeting, none of them went, wait, Dragoon. We must include Dragoon.
It's so weird because like, this isn't about me, but this raid series feels like there are so many things that came at me specifically. Like there's no Bastock, there's no gear that I earned in 11 from it. Just like there's lots of little things that are like, how can we upset this person specifically? Like I feel so targeted in like the worst way by so much of the things that I don't like in this raid. And that's
like you're supposed to pander to people, not
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Like I definitely don't feel as though, it's so tough because when I think about other Alliance raids where I've been kind of middling or like, okay about them, like I feel as though the actual raids themselves were stronger in Nier, but the story was far worse in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least as far as like, I don't know, coherency and why you would care and having any real, I do feel like the story of this 11 Alliance raid at least felt a bit more impactful.
You could understand even small parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it felt a bit more like a complete package. I think that the fights probably are kind of on par across all of the raids for me with the like, the Realm of the Gods or the 12 raid series that we had, where like some of the fights in that raid series were really good, others were just kind of middling, and I kind of feel like overall the raids across the board in the 11 series feel similar to me, where there are some that stand out as like, oh, this was more interesting or more thematic or more of a challenge, and then other ones were a bit more of like a wash across. And yet I feel like, again, the story was perhaps a bit more overall cohesive than even the one with the 12, because that one just felt like, again, if you were choosing to do this for an Alliance raid series, that story needed to be twice as long. Like this
that needed to be the MSQ. Make the Four Lords the Alliance raid or something.
It needed more fluff to it. Like the story there was basically, all right, you need to fight us because we're the gods and we said so. Just kidding, we're friends, but still keep fighting us because we want to die.
Yeah, and then it's like at last hour revealed, like, oh yeah, but we were all different ancients that had like huge big backstories, but you'll probably only hear about them in this one little tiny thing and never again. And I was like, what? Let alone just the foundational impact that the worship of the 12, at least upon the game's inception and many subsequent years, it was like such a massive major part of the world building of this game.
Choose your deity when you make your character. It doesn't fucking matter at all, but like you have an option.
It's wild. So like in many ways I feel like this 11 raid overall still lands a bit higher in certain aspects than some of the other ones that we've had delivered. but there were some decisions with it that I think are a little bit like, huh? Especially, yeah, for kind of bringing in the nostalgia for 11 players, but then also kind of introducing 11 as an appealing
Right.
and interesting thing. Obviously, it has gotten people interested in
Yeah,
11, which
strangely,
is
it seems
yeah,
to have
like
worked.
Yeah.
right, which I think is one of the greatest things that has come out of this raid, and I'm really glad that that's happening and that we're seeing, you know, things like this expanded free trial coming for 11 and all
Mhm.
kinds of different things. Like I think that's awesome. So it was successful in those regards. I just think there definitely is a way that they could have done this with greater impact. I think for more people. But overall, it's like it's okay. It finished and it was fine. It was okay, and I know that like for some people, there was a lot of disappointment because of 11 and having played it, and for some people, they were just excited to see 11 kind of show up again in something.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
I think all of my disappointment was released when they said next 24 man 11, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So the only place I had to go was up. And poor Fusion and I did like a little sad high five in the middle as I went up
Yeah.
and he went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was right. The potential is great, and we talked about this to death over multiple episodes, right? But it's like they're not going to make everybody happy about this. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I was just hoping I would be one of the people that was happy with it, and I was anything
Yeah.
but. There's some good parts. There are some good parts in it, but
I have a question.
overall,
Finish your thought.
But yeah, but overall, like I think, man, I'm borderline. Like I wish it was something else, and this didn't even happen because it gave me nothing that I wanted.
Mm.
Like there was some neat little things in there, but like overall, just what a disappointment.
So my question is ranking the three walks, if you will. What order?
Oh boy, I have to like remember what was even in all of them.
Let's see.
What was the first?
Juno,
the first box had-
Sandoria.
So the
Juno.
first
The
one, the first one
had-
is Juno with Prish, Fafnir, Shadow Lord.
Okay. Second one had the war. Nope, not the War
Kieran.
Triad. Had
Sandoria,
had the-
Kieran.
The two
Oh, that's the
dukes.
one that had the-
Cumlinot, Eldernarch.
Two dukes.
Yeah, two Duke.
There's something else in there.
Nope, sorry, hitting my microphone.
The airship stuff. I think two. I think the second
Yeah.
one is my favorite.
I
Yeah.
agree. Second one, best one.
Second one was
I
the
think
best. It's
second
still,
one.
Secondoria.
Yeah, I think second one, then for me the third one, and then the first one is probably the order that I would do.
Yeah?
I think
Yeah.
the existence of the Hallowed King just makes that the last, like the
Sure.
least, the lowest, even like lower than the lowest. It's like -5 on the scale of 1 to 10. Like,
See, for me, I'm like Shinryu was cool, and I love a big shiny space dragon.
like-
so
yeah,
I'm
like
really
dragon.
with
it
like,
sucks because like
damn.
I really, the Alexander thing was a surprise, which is cool. The Prothia fight was really cool, but the Hallowed King just like is really just the giant turd on the shit Sunday at this point for me. Like it really just
Don't eat that.
killed the whole thing for me. And I think and there's minus the Hallowed King, I think that, well, no, because Alzabi was goofy too. Like each one, like they would show us a certain thing and it was just wrong. Like you have the Shadow Lord with his armor that he summons. That's not the armor that he wears in 11. Like he has an entire
The lizard wizard was
set
just
for
wrong. His interpretations were bad.
Yeah,
You know
fair.
what's really funny? Charles, go ahead.
Oh no, I am agreeing. I'm just saying, yeah. I mean, it's weird that maybe that's why they were like, well, it's his interpretation of it, but that's not a great answer.
Yeah.
What's your
how would
order?
you rank them? Yeah.
Oh,
Natalie.
my order? Yeah, I would say 2, probably 1, 3. I don't dislike 3 as much. Right, but 1 was better than 3, I agree. And 2 is the best. It's simply because of Airship, because of the two Dukes. It was more of the stuff that I had seen.
Yeah,
Honestly.
for me, it's what was the least wrong. So like in
Sure.
2, like the biggest wrong thing was like the approach to Delkfoot's Tower, which was like over like this giant chasm. Like you just walk into it from Quiff a Mile. Like I don't know what the hell. Like they were like when they showed the screenshot for 2, people are like, is that the tower? Is that Feyin in the glacier zone? Like, what is that? It was unrecognizable. Like, that's a problem if you're trying to make a nostalgia raid and stuff is unrecognizable. I mean, even Sandoria, when we saw, them reveal Sandoria and Charles clocked it right away, and I was like, what is that? What is that supposed to be? Oh, okay. Right. And then the Shadow Lord armor, the extra amount of texture detail on the ruins up in sky and the floating ruins. Yeah, okay. But yeah, 3 just I don't know, Timu Alzabi and Hollowed King just really oof.
Yeah.
I'm also on team 312. And I do think it's funny that even after our pretty happy, pretty upset, and kind of also neutral reactions to this 24-man series, it's still 312 for 3 of us.
312, you mean 3 being the worst and 2
sorry,
being best?
213, sorry.
Yeah,
213. Yeah. And I think too, to look ahead to Evercold too a little bit. Boy, once this third tier came out, I was already not liking it, right? And then at FanFest they're like, so Fusion really loves Final Fantasy XI. What's Fusion's favorite anime? Let's do a raid series on that next. And I come home from FanFest and I do the third raid and I'm like, please don't ruin something else I love from my childhood.
Here's the thing, man.
Please.
Here's the thing. Be disappointed to start. Just start
there you go.
really low. Don't be excited for it.
Yeah, I'm already kind of in that route, right? Because when you
you can only go up from there.
Yeah, right? Because we've had these raids near. I mean, kind of Evilise, but Evilise, they actually did a really good job of weaving into the world, right?
I agree. Yeah.
So that didn't feel like a collab as much as it was just yes, this happens to be part of 14, and it's been baked in for years, right? With Gaius talking about Dalmasca and stuff, this has already been here. And then you get Nier, which looking back was absolutely a billboard for what was it, Replicant, that came out that year.
I believe so, yeah.
And then you have
kind of, but it still didn't even. I felt like that Nier raid collab just did not serve either game well. I feel like it didn't show anything about what was other than the actual raid, the raids themselves.
Fun, yeah.
I feel like the story didn't show anything.
No, it was awful.
That actually
it was awful.
Impactful from either game. That would have been, even if it was totally off the wall, but it was Nier at peak.
You need to make a Venn diagram. You get gear, you get story, you get makes sense. You only get one.
Yeah, I think that the way that I'm leaning towards is collaboration raids suck. That's ultimately what this is leading towards, right? Mm-hmm. And I've said it already, but 14 is the best when it's its own original story, when it's not copying from something, when it's just being itself. And so to go from Nier to 11 to the FF9 expansion of Dawn Trail, the FF4 patch cycle for Endwalker, and now it's all right, and then the next raid is Evangelion, which doesn't even remotely fit into 14, right? Thematically, it's giant robots. You can't. How do you do a raid with 24 people and
this is what kills me, though,
kaijus?
Because Fusion, you always praise Whirlit, and Whirlit is Gundam.
Yeah.
So
are all of us going to be in a Gundam during this raid series?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I mean. It doesn't work unless you literally give everybody a giant skyscraper tall robot to play in for each of these
raids. When you go into
raids.
the raid, everybody gets to pick what color Ava you want, and then you play the whole raid.
I don't see that happening.
It's going to have us fighting things from it, much like they did with the whole Verlet thing. And we might have some G Warrior
shenanigans.
I hope so.
Sequences and mini gameplay, but I assume that, again, because you're playing an MMO player character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll have some spots where you climb into something and you have to do some kind of little thing. Maybe even in the raid itself. But I think the big thing here for me is that, again, sometimes we see collabs work well. However, I think it really depends on what they think they're doing with this. This is the thing. Because it seems to me, at least from recent trends, that they have decided that 24-mans are largely their window for a collaboration.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so if they are looking to do a collab, it's either going to be a 24-man or some other like little one-off or repeatable side content, side quest, little mini event, right? Like we see sometimes pop up for different games.
Mhm.
But more so, even recently, it feels like it has become the 24-man. And we are seeing a trend in a lot of games right now for the idea of collab promotion. We
Yeah.
are seeing this idea of having these crossover collabs in Fortnite, in gacha games, in all this stuff. But there's this idea of cross-promotional collab branding. Now, I'm not saying that like this is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that I think it might be time that we as 14 players have to just generally adjust what we think 24-mans are. And that just might mean that at least now, until they show us otherwise, they tend to seem to be leaning towards them being an opportunity for collaboration and something that may or may not carry real impactful weight,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and that like may or may not have a satisfying scope, and that like just might kind of be a thing that serves as some additional content to run in the end game cycle, and that is kind of a fun jaunt that gives people a taste of something a bit different from what we normally get in 14. And like, of course, we've recently had the series, The Raid with the 12, but that was also Endwalker, and it felt
Yeah.
like they were trying to cover a lot of ground with things they wanted to wrap up, and they were just trying to figure
Yeah.
out what they could use, especially because they had like streamlined so much other content at that point that we really had limited real estate for where they could do that. So I don't know. I think the Ava raid, I have low expectations for it at this point because I'm literally going, well, if it seems like what they are trying to do is just give us a kind of fun collab thing,
Mhm.
then like
Alright.
that's about where my expectations
Yeah,
are.
I think
Like,
that
does it mean they should be higher? I would like to see them use these things to greater effect.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're going to give us other stuff to greater effect, then fine. So yeah, it's tough with me on these because I feel like at this point I've just kind of adjusted my feeling on it given what
Mm.
they've shown us.
I
I don't
think
know.
I think that the benefit we do have this time with the Eva raid, it's not an internal collab, which
Mm.
means it's not just like, you know, somebody, you know, the next floor over or the next office over or whatever, just being like, yeah, no, that's fine. I guess that's cool. Like, this is our thing or whatever. You're going to have an outside collaborator, which I'm sure is going to be messy as hell to work with. Right. But that means they'll have somebody, Square Enix will have somebody else saying, hey, this is what we want to do, and challenging them on what they think is good, which we need, I think. So that's, I think, the light in this kind of murky collab darkness is that we'll have Kara working with them to be like, hey, this is how we want to do things. This is the direction we want to go in for story. Obviously they need to make sure that that story works well within the context of 14. Certain raids didn't do that well near.
Yep.
But it's just, I hope it's okay. Like, I don't know how it's going to do it thematically. It doesn't feel like it fits at all, but it's a collab world, right? We're at a point now where, you know, we said 14's at what, 35 million registered accounts. They need to find a way to reach other people, other audiences. How do we do that? A robot mecha raid series and an Iron Mouse concert. That's just how these things are now. So we'll have to just wait and see.
I have hope because there's one, I'm not going to get into speculation. There's one thing that if they don't do, I'm like, what are you doing? What is the live stream if not LCL? What, right? Breaking down the barriers between each other. We all return to the live stream.
Just some liquid live stream just right in here.
I mean, I'm just saying, right? Like, that's a lot of what Ava is about, the barriers between each other and what keeps us the same when we go into a live stream. Like, I want the answer to that.
Yeah.
What are the boundaries of our soul versus others? Like, they could really do some cool stuff. They're not going to. They could. I
would love if they did. I mean, I want them to prove me wrong in so many regards, right? Like, And I think no matter what, it's going to be fun. A lot of people are already feeling very elated and very excited
Yeah.
that an anime that has been so pivotal to
Mhm.
so many people, because there is an audience overlap. We cannot deny
Oh
this.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
In Final Fantasy and anime. Like, of course there is. Not everybody will enjoy both. But like there is an audience overlap. So I can see why they would pick it. And we know that like Yoshida-san and various people on the team are big fans of mecha. And we know that obviously there's some big stuff coming up for Evangelion with its
Yep.
anniversaries and this like reboot of the show that's coming out and other stuff. So I know why it's happening. As we record this live, I saw in chat this mention of why are we bringing more giant mechs in? That kind of feeling of like, I just don't want like a bunch of giant mechs. And I can't disagree in the sense that like, you've all heard us say it a million times. I would love if
Yep.
they would choose to collaborate with people that like had a bit more thematic, just like fantasy, just like
Where's
What are
my
we-
dungeon
we were
mesh?
talking- Yeah, exactly. We were talking
Yes,
about
thank
this
you.
for Time Adrift. We were
Yeah.
why not Dungeon Meshi? Why not old school Slayers? Come on.
yeah,
More
like
fantasy. Yeah.
give us something. We have Freerun that's been on right now. We've got like
Oh
that's
yeah.
been, like we have so many shows. Atelier. We have like a ton of
Ooh.
great fantasy shows that
Where's
are
where's
out
my
got-
where's my
have been
Lord of the
out.
Just
Rings
got
Alliance raid?
Painter.
Give me my Lord of the Rings Alliance raid. Give me the high
I-
fantasy stuff. Once they started getting crazy with the tech, like Allegan was okay. Once they started like getting a little crazier, it's like, all right, like and they're like
Yeah.
Solution 9, like you need to stop.
I'm just hoping that like Neon Genesis, like Evangelion is, I think even a lot of us here on the cast are fans of it or have watched it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm not at all opposed to sure, like let's get in there, like let's do it. But I hope that with Evercold, we start to continue to see more of a return to fantasy overall, and that the
Mhm.
reception to Evercold is really, really good for many reasons, but also so that people are like, hey, sure, it is okay that we have sci-fi. It's not as though I also love sci-fi. The thing is, though, is that I like fantasy in my Final Fantasy world. Not everybody will feel the
Yeah.
same degree of wanting that I do, which is totally okay.
Mhm.
But I think we have gone so hard towards the sci-fi elements with this collab, with whatever else. I'm like, okay, fine. If you want to get this out of the way, fine. But I would really like to see them focus their attentions a bit more on some of the other like rich worlds and genre and fantasy they could, if they're going to do collabs, that they could bring
Yeah.
into this game. So
Yeah, they need collabs that I don't know how they even weave this in. I'll be honest, I don't know how they do this. I didn't know how they were going to work near in. It's like, okay, well, it's on the first, so it's not really affecting everything else. It's just kind of over here, hidden in these mountains.
It's
and
a video
like-
game that we play in Solution 9. That's what it is.
Gendo is one of the Winterers. You heard it here first. This
Wow.
is his plan
Honestly-
to save us all.
Honestly,
by knocking
Wow.
us down into the live stream. There you go.
thematically, it would make sense. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right, so let's go back to to Winders. We didn't give the reviews score. So for Winders the Third Walk, I gave it a 15. Zen gave it an 18. Aldino gave it an 18, and Rook gave it a 19. So that is a 70 out of 100. That is a C minus. So
It's passing.
it's still
Yeah, it's
passing.
pass-
it's
still a
passing, but it's on the
passing
low end
grade.
of passing.
It's on the low end of passing, and I honestly,
3.5.
yeah.
It will walk.
3.3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was just I couldn't give it anything higher. It's just I almost wanted to dog it more, to be honest, but I'm like I did enjoy parts of it.
I'm proud of you.
But yeah,
Good job.
this whole thing was bad, guys. It was real
Yeah.
bad. It was
I get
not
it.
good.
Well, it was a mix, I think is maybe the overall summary. That there were parts of it that maybe missed the mark as far as nostalgia. There were parts of it that maybe didn't fully realize what it could have. And there were also parts that were enjoyable, that were fun. The story hung together coherently enough. But yeah, I don't think it's one of the ones that feels like it's had a big impact on my psyche.
I think
if
it's I think
will.
it's been the most divisive raid that I've seen in a while.
Mm.
Near, I think
Yeah, I
everybody agrees for Near, the story was like, what happened? with
Okay,
that?
I have heard a few people that actually loved that story, and I'm like, look, I'm happy for you. I am happy for you.
how does their mind work? Like, we even had Moose on to like try and dissect that. I'm like, I guess it makes a little bit more sense, but it's still really bizarre and like, okay. But I just, yeah, it's so weird because like we'll talk about it on Discord, and Rook's like, yeah, I ran with some people and they thought it was great, and they used to play 11, and I'm like over here with people that I used to podcast with and play 11, and like, dude, this sucks. Like, what were they thinking? It's like the
Remember
complete
thinking-
opposite ends of the spectrum.
I know. You remember how earlier I gave that like heartfelt speech about the themes that resonate with me with the Zem and the Wanderer, and how every person from around the world in our distinct lives, culture, region, histories, we all have these diverse lived experiences. I mean, it's one of the beautiful things about an MMO in that it is a place where we can all experience together something. And shape that experience together in a way that's different and more dynamic than just like I'm sitting at home and I'm playing an RPG that I like, right? And so it's wild to me because for every single thing that we can say here on this podcast, as always, everybody, your experience is different from ours,
Yeah.
And other people's experiences are different too. So we can never just sweeping statements say, yeah, this one thing never appealed to anybody. We can give our thoughts, our feelings, our perspective, and sometimes that resonates with others. But at the end of the day, even if something was not for me, I am very happy when I hear that somebody else in this game enjoyed it and that they were like, that was
thrilled.
for me.
Yeah,
Like,
I am thrilled that
good.
people enjoyed this. I'm just a little jealously bitter that I wasn't one of them.
I think it's funny that you said this wasn't one of the ones that touched your psyche. I would say this actually did, but
Yay!
not necessarily because of the story or the fights or anything like that.
Mm.
I was able to revisit something that was important to me long ago that actually also did a whole lot of emotional damage without experiencing the emotional damage part. So I got to have some healthy nostalgia for a thing that I did like but ended up hating. And it was a little healing. It made me a little bit more open to looking at things that I have already shut out and been like, nope, I'm good. No, thank you, never again. In a little bit of a kinder light. So as far as things that touch the psyche, this one did touch the psyche for me.
I'm glad. That makes me really happy, Zen. Honestly. Good to get a little bit of healing from a time period or something that you were just like, ugh.
Yep.
All right. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's all we were gonna do. So that's our score. So we'll recap again here. Dungeon got a solid B at 85 out of 100. Trial got a C+ at 77 out of 100, and then the Raid got a C- at 70 out of 100. So that is the beginning of our review in progress. Obviously, as we get more of the patch, we will talk about the other things that get added. We'll talk about them. We'll give them a score, and then once it's all done, we'll do our normal patch review where we'll have the write up and the final score. So let us know again.
This,
What you think, because this is we're trying something new again. This is, I feel like it's been a year and a half. We got to revamp how we do reviews. But yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think.
I like how when Fusion brought this up, he was like, you know what? The Final Fantasy XIV team has inspired me to rethink how we do things.
I have been like, after Evercold, like just the shot of adrenaline it feels like they're putting into that game. I've been looking at stuff that we've been doing for years, and I'm like, we could change that up. We could modernize things. Like we could, and it's a nice feeling to have after the other feelings I've been having. And so this is kind of one of those. So,
however,
oh wow.
If you were to hand this report card that we just gave to this particular patch to a parent, they would be like, "Oh, good job not failing. Maybe come back later after you study some more."
And honestly, that's how 14 has been in Dawn Trail. It's been hanging in there. It's not been failing, but it's not great either. So I think it's a good reflection of what the game currently is. And remember too, we are still dealing with all of the decisions that were made at the beginning of Dawn Trail. It's not like FanFest come out, look at all this cool stuff. That doesn't mean like, okay, in 3 days, all the stuff is suddenly going to be cool. They're still dealing with those decisions that they made and budgeted for and all the time they spent. So like, we're still like in Dawn Trail, right? Like we're not going to be in like, hopefully like the super awesome, great, like life-changing expansion of Evercold, right? We're not there yet. We're getting there. We still need to see what else they're doing, but like, we're still in like this time period of the game.
I think I said this before, but What I really want from 7.55, the next part of the story we get anyway, is that same feeling that I got at the end of Heaven's Word. Is that Heaven's Word? Maybe it's Stormblood. Stormblood, when they lead us up to the tower and go, all right, something's gonna happen. See you in a year, you know?
Yeah.
But that same like, okay, but I want to know what's gonna happen. How could you leave me here? That's what I want. It almost doesn't matter how they present it, but just that feeling of, but I need what happens next. Give it to me.
Yeah, I just want them to deliver some real amp up, because I feel like a lot of times 14 has struggled greatly in really not wanting to show any of the cards up their sleeve. And so when we get into these patch cycles, sometimes, not always, but sometimes they can be so stingy with anything that they are willing to give you at all that connects to the next expansion, that it ends up feeling totally disconnected or completely lackluster, or like you've just been treading water for like 5 patches and now suddenly it's like, oh, a new expansion is starting, thank God. Like
Yeah.
for me, I want to see them really build on the stuff that's been really good the last few patches. And from there, like you were saying, Zen, really vaunt us into this story. Like, give us a taste of Evercold before the expansion. Give us things that actually foreshadow or have like a connection to the expansion. And this story that's unfolding about this very personal, high stakes, interesting thing about what we stand for and what that legacy of where we come from to who we are now, like, kind of means to us. So I hope they keep building on that. That's what I'm really hoping for. And important too, like we said, this isn't our entire summary of 7.5 so far. Like Fusion has mentioned a few times, like, we will be reviewing this patch in sections to try to give it a more fair and like broader look at actually what it brings to the table, instead of just trying to review stuff up front but then kind of trickling in some other stuff later. So the stuff that was reviewed here today maybe was a little middling, but already we've talked about some of the things we really liked about the story. There's a lot of other elements and there's more content to come in this patch. So I think for me, I have a little taste right now of what I'm really hoping for, and I hope that they just like completely make us all like so hungry for what's to come.
And I think it's important too, you know, when you look at the scores and it's a B and 2 C's, right? I think it's again, it's right, it's a passing grade, right, is what we would call it here. But it's still one of those things where it is reflective of the current game. We are not in Evercold yet. We are in Dawn Trail, which has had its problems. Like, some people have loved it, some people haven't, but like that, it's a reflection of what the game is now. And by breaking it down by content and getting more of that content reflected in the score, I think we'll have more accurate review scores overall. And again, even if it's on the high side, that's great. If it's on the low side, that's still okay, because that's just where we are right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how things are. Other people will have a review is also, it's an opinion. If you disagree, that's okay. Right. And so it's just, this is what we are feeling about the game right now. We're not in Evercold, we're in Dawn Trail, which is, I think at this point, probably like one of the most problematic and divided expansions that we've had. Sure. And so, you know, scores our scores are actually fairly closer than I thought they might be this time around. Obviously I dunked on 11 a little bit more. We all knew that would happen. That's not a surprise. But I think that's just, you know, we're all feeling, you know, in varying degrees a certain way. And once we get to Evercold, right, that can change. Maybe we'll see a lot more higher scores. We don't know yet. We're not in Evercold, but there's certainly everything that we've seen so far about Evercold looks very promising on paper. It needs to then follow through with that execution. But I think, you know, we're still in 7.x, and we're still going to be in 7.x for a little while. So that's just kind of the way of you know, things take time to do. So we're going to need to wait till January to get into Evercold. But For right now, what we have is okay. It could be a little better. And maybe with some of the stuff we see, obviously, like we'll talk about cosmic exploration, and I'm sure Rook is like, have I done any cosmic exploration yet? So
The answer
I'll
is
do it.
no.
yeah,
I swear
and so
I'll do it.
there are bits and pieces there, right, where it's like the
I
ultimate.
think
Okay,
Moon.
well, none of us are going to be progging ultimate, right? But we can look at it and we can evaluate it and give our thoughts on it that way.
I'll be casting it. So.
Yeah, and Rook will be casting it. So yeah, so hopefully this review process is a little more accurate to what the patch is and how things are as a whole for the game in the period of time that this patch review releases. So let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your feedback.
I initially when I went to pick my scores, I was like, oh gosh, this range is so wide. How will I ever pick? So I ended up dividing it back down into the 1 to 5 that we did. But from that
scales,
1 to
yeah.
5, we then have the freedom to bump it up a little or bump it down a little, because throughout our entire review process, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we've always been going, I wish I could give it just a little bit more, or I would like to give it a little bit less. And now we can. So I'm kind of excited about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
also.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say
I will reserve the thoughts.
it's hard because obviously we're part of Gamerscape. We also review other games, and 14 and 14 patches are very different for how we do that, because we also don't do a podcast
especially
about
with 4
all those
people.
other games. Yeah, and so trying to convert that while also giving us the same ultimate end score structure has been challenging, to say the least. But I think this might be a good way to kind of advance and change how we've been doing it, to hopefully still give us a solid score at the end, but also make sure that we're able to talk more about everything in the patch, because it's it's one of those things too where you talk about like Dawn Trail, right? Like for me, it's been kind of like whatever, but some of the people that have been raiding, right, that are doing the savages and the extremes and the ultimates, are like, this expansion has been great, but I don't touch any of that. So it's like
the raids were excellent.
Yeah, and so like if we were to give a score of patch 7.5 today, that doesn't include even observational thoughts about the ultimate. That doesn't include the conclusion for cosmic exploration. That doesn't include the actual end of the complete story for 7.5. And so it got to a point where I'm like, well, it's like I was almost like, do we even do reviews? Because there's like half of the patch that we're excluding by just coming out with the final score 2 weeks after the initial patch. So hopefully this works better. It helps actually for us internally to kind of steer the topics for the episodes going forward a little bit more. So we'll see how this works for the end here, and if it does well, we'll take this kind of same thing into the Evercold patch cycle.
So this isn't a phrase that I say very often, but as an old person, I can tell you that the time from between now to January is almost nothing. Evercold's going to be here before you know it, everybody. It's going to be so great. As an old person.
Is very soon.
Time goes quick when you get old, so treasure it and know that soon enough your favorite expansion will be released.
And
don't forget to pay your bills. That 15th of every month will slip right through your fingers.
And I mean, right now it's May 30th when we're recording this podcast. Evercold is out in January. July 25th-ish.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It's either the 24th, the 25th, or like the 25th and 26th, I think, for July Fan Fest in Berlin.
Sorry, I about Berlin Fan Fest. I'm just like totally zoning out.
What is
I could have
happening?
instantly told you when it was as the 25th and 26th.
Okay.
I mean, if anyone would know, it would be you. Hopefully,
I will be there. I will be there commentating. Yes.
Rook's sitting there like today. I was like, I feel like I was supposed to be somewhere. Oh, right, Germany.
I would be in big trouble, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But I mean, we, soon we'll have more info soon. We're already, we already had some good news. We'll hopefully get more good news. We'll learn a little bit more about what they're planning to do with Evercold. But you know what? Everything we've seen so far seems good. It seems like they're getting the budget they need to do what they want to do what they need to do.
That's what they promised. That's what he said.
Mhm.
That's what the man said. I heard
That's
him
what he
in
said.
person.
I mean, hopefully we don't end up with another one of these like, yeah, so like Square gave us a blank check for Endwalker and it's going to be great. And we're consolidating a bunch of stuff because we don't have enough budget. And
Yeah, hopefully that will not be the case. I mean, it seems like it won't be, considering the amount of things that they say.
you got to be careful with
so.
the marketing phrases, right? Like, oh yeah, we have a blank check, or the one for Evercold. I'm like, it's going to take us to the next level. I'm like, whatever that means.
I mean, it might actually, honestly, because we're the current level,
10 levels. We're increasing the level cap by 10. It's literally taking you to the next 10 levels.
But like what the game delivers right now, if they pull off all the stuff that they seem to be saying they're going to pull off, then we will be taking this game to a heretofore unseen level.
Glamour is endgame.
It also is really funny though that there was an interview with Final Fantasy XI producer director Yoji Fujito, and he was talking about some of the stuff they have planned, and he also talked about like bringing you hopefully we can bring you to the bring Final Fantasy XI to the next level. I'm like, there's that phrase again, man. Like. Someone over at Square Enix was like, yeah, this is good. Use that. Say that. That's great. But yeah, so that's where we are. Coming up, we do have the Ultimate Raid that's going to drop this coming week, I believe, on is it the 2nd?
Yes, Tuesday, the 2nd of June. This time I wasn't spacing out. See?
Yeah, got a calendar open, looking right at it. Like, I know everything.
Like,
yes,
this neurospicy brain has to function, because if you ask me what is happening on Sunday, I cannot give you a true answer unless that's calendar is open in front of me. Yeah, and that's why I would have to look at my calendars in Egypt to let you know what's happening tomorrow, because sometimes I forget.
That's how it goes.
Yes,
that's how
June 2nd. June 2nd, the Ultimate Race World first starts. I will be casting it. Yes. We've got some amazing prizes. We've got some amazing charity stuff, charity goals, raising money for Games for Love again. It's an incredible organization that helps support children who really need not just the life-saving treatment that they're receiving in hospitals, but also just the joy that games or other outlets can give them while they go through these incredibly difficult times in their life. Games for Love also then supports them even into adulthood, considering the impact it's had on their childhood. So there's a lot of different things that will be going on. But yeah, we're going to be fighting a clown. You can catch me in the broadcast Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
It's accurate. It's true.
Just going. You say, yeah, we're going to be fighting a clown. What?
That's it. We're going to be fighting a clown.
True.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. That clown might become God. And if we hit certain charity goals, you might see me in clown makeup. So there's going to be a lot.
If you put clown makeup on, do you then also become God?
I can only hope.
Okay.
I can only hope.
Are you trying to suggest that your friend is not already some sort of god?
Now I'm questioning if I'm a bad friend. That's a weird question. That's a weird question.
All friends should be as gods to you.
Oh,
no, probably not. That might be unhealthy.
When you're asked, you say yes. That's true. I learned that from a movie.
I feel pressure to say yes, but also that's kind of a weird question.
Oh, well, I am one, and I'm surprised that you all didn't know this about me as my friends. Okay, well,
if you're a real god, you would have brought my goldfish back.
So sorry.
Just saying.
And then on Saturday of next week, there will be as well the Crystalline Conflict Regional Championship. Our semi-quarters are on Saturday at 4 a.m. PT, 6 a.m. CT. Oh. Because it is for EU and Oceania. So for any of our overseas viewers, it'll be at a much more reasonable hour for you.
Or me.
I will send you an entire bucket. I will send a bucket of coffee. That is too early.
I'm gonna need it.
So
I had this
early.
moment. I was like, oh yeah, Saturday, CCRC. Let me just double check those times. And then I opened it up and I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And then I went, oh yeah, right. This is a European tournament.
That's how they get you, by having tournaments on the other side of the world.
It's gonna be fun.
It'll be great. So it's really gonna be fun.
It'll be fun. Once you wake up, it'll be great. It'll be fun.
You'll be screaming and shouting the whole time, and you won't even remember that you're tired.
Exactly. Honestly, next week is like big hype, super excitement, tons of stuff coming for 14.
Just get one of those. Just get one of those alarms with the giant like fist or the hand that just slaps you awake. Just
Slaps you.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think I'll be able to do it. I believe in myself. But yeah, tune into the race, tune into CCRC. And there's going to be some amazing merch and stuff as well that one Dr.
Yes.
Griswold had a wonderful hand in. So there's a lot of ways to support the charities. And there'll be more information on socials and during the broadcast.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
I think we're done. I think we did it. I think we did a
That's it.
podcast. We did. Did we do?
Oh,
the
you know
thing?
what just happened? Episode 9 of A Time Adrift got dropped like just now.
It did.
Right
Kabam.
now, just
just
this
like a
second.
little hour
Literally
ago, right
Zen,
before.
Zen just pushed the button.
I
She's
didn't
like,
do it. It wasn't me.
right now.
It was not I. Cannot take that credit.
Yeah, go check
another
that out.
Did
episode
happen.
out.
All right. If you want to find me on the internet for whatever reason, you can do so at Raffledrg, RFLDRG. I am on Blue Sky. I am sometimes on Twitch. Not recently, but maybe more soon, since I've finally got a little bit of breathing room from my
Yay.
insane project for work. You can find all my VODs, Raffledrg X at YouTube. And that's me.
All right. I'm Zanidra. I don't have my thing that tells me where I am on the internet, so I forgot.
I put it.
Yep.
I wrote it down. I put it on the paper.
God, here it is. Okay. I'm looking at the wrong monitor. So, Twitter is Zanidra_A, which I probably should have known. Twitch, Strawberry Bop, which I might do some more Rivals on soon. I have also been super, super busy and not really able to do anything, even just play Rivals. But I discovered the other day that when I got back on there and started beating up rude dudes, it did make me feel better. So I'm going to try and do some more of that just for my mental health. Blue Sky is just Zanidra because I'm fast and furious and got my name. Hooray. And like I said, we just well, not me, but A Time Adrift was just dropped. And if you want
to hear me talk like this for like 2 hours or so, and like do little snipes and stuff at my friends, because that's what my character does. He's a big joke. Go check that out. It's real fun.
that's me. That's the internet where I do things.
Hi. I'm
Hi.
here and only here. And also Time Adrift. You see that name? It's very hard to spell. Am I pointing at the right place? It's below me.
Maybe it's
It's-
to
I think it's below you, yeah.
your that no other way or so yeah.
Aha.
There you go.
Yep, okay. It's over there. It's fake French. You know, we played this game. Yeah, so I'm here, I'm on Time Adrift, and that's about it. That last episode of Time Adrift is very fun. You should definitely watch it, especially if you like tactics like I do. That's it. For
The
me.
ending is as a big surprise.
Oh yeah.
Okay, for me, hi, I'm Rook, aka Rookery. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch at Rookery. That's ROOKURI. You can find me on Twitter at Rookery_Blue Sky at Rookery and Instagram at Rookery. You can also find me on A Time Adrift, which is obviously what I do with these lovely folks, a Final Fantasy XIV TTRPG. And gosh, the Mythic Dungeon International for World of Warcraft. We have our finals coming up next month. And I already talked about the stuff with Mock Talk World Race, CCRC. So find me on those as well. Or tune in sometime when I'm live. Although the past couple months and this upcoming month, me being live on my own channel, it's a little bit spicier to schedule because we've had so many esports events. So keep an eye out as the notifications go up for those, because usually I am live somewhere, even if it's not on my own channel.
The lineup for that that stream that's coming up is just so expansive and so
Yeah.
full of very, very cool streamers. I was excited to see the graphic for that.
Yeah, with Mock Talk, it's gonna be fun.
Mhm.
Do you see the one? I forget who it was, but somebody did like a little edit of Yoshi P pointing back at the picture, and his finger just happens
Yeah.
to be pointing right at Frosty. It was pretty funny.
Amazing.
All right. And if you want to find us here at Aetheryte Radio, you can email us aetheryteradio@gamerscape.com. You can find us on X and Blue Sky at Aetheryte Radio. And then, of course, you can find us as Gamerscape on X, Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Discord. So that is going to do it for us today. If you are one of our lovely patrons, we do have... you want to take this one, Zen?
I had just meant to, but you can absolutely go ahead.
We do have our new Patreon video benefit for the end of May here. That is going to be footage from us at the Requiem Cafe during FanFest. So we had a chance to go there and check out the various food and drink items that they had over there. So if you want to see some of those, go ahead and check that out. And now we're done with our FanFest coverage.
Yeah, it's over.
We did it.
I think
Yay!
the message that I actually posted up with the Patreon thing was, "You thought FanFest was over? Well, it's not."
You were wrong.
It was a good time. It was very cool.
We had a
It's
great
good.
time.
And if you were feeling left out because you didn't get to go, still can't try the food. I'm really sorry, but you
You can
see
live
inside.
vicariously through us right now over on
Yeah.
Patreon. It's available for our $5 tier people, and in a week from now it'll be up on YouTube for everybody. So if you want to catch that and other things like that early, consider becoming a patron. If you want to support the show but you don't have that much money, you can also join our $1 tier, which will still get your name in the credits here at the end of every podcast episode. So thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you for your support, and please again get in the comments, let us know what you think about what we're doing here for this review for patch 7.5, and we'll see you in the next one. Next time should be talking about Ultimate.
Yeah.
I did want to add to the stuff for Patreon. That is already set up to go up on YouTube. Hooray! But if you were one of the people who was outside of the cafe, like waiting to get in, didn't have a reservation, and you did the sidewalk chalk drawings, we went back later and recorded a bunch of them. So if you were like, "Oh, I wish I'd taken a picture of my drawing," and you didn't, you can get it from the video.
There you go.
Because there's
All
a
right.
bunch of really cute stuff in there.
I didn't even look at the sidewalk. So I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Funny story. There's a very good tiki bar right next door to the Recreation
This I've heard
Cafe.
about. I've heard about this.
Yes.
Yes. Charles mentioned the tiki bar at least 5 times, I think, while
Yeah.
we were hanging out. Yeah.
So we went, and because we were there later at night and there weren't people on the sidewalk using it, waiting to get into the cafe, I was able to get some footage of it.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the big brain strat. Go when there's nobody around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
Well,
yeah.
Go check that out if you haven't. And again, it'll be available for everybody here in about a week. So keep an eye out on our Gamerscape YouTube channel for that. And then next episode, we'll be talking about Ultimate. We'll be talking about patch 7 point. I think it was 5.1.
Yeah.
5.2. I forget what the day is, but it's like Ultimate. It's is
can't
it
count.
Cosmic Exploration?
Yeah, it's both.
There's a couple little things in there. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be doing the review for those and chatting about whatever else is going on. So we will see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
I am Groot.